sheets, we're going to go ahead and enter in our first quote. To do this, we'll toggle to the Quotes tab on the left-hand side, and then hit Create Quote in the top right-hand corner. You will see that I already have some currently that I've been working on, but I can add more by clicking this button up top in the right. So the first thing we'll do is decide who our client is going to be. Now, if we already have a list of existing clients, we can go ahead and select them, or we can create a new client, which is what I'm going to do in this case. And we'll go ahead and add in the Home Depot. If I'd like to, at this point, I can assign a different name to the quote. If I need to have a name that's any different than Home Depot, we'll just go ahead and stick with Home Depot. And then add in the year too. I can add in a quote ID if I would like to, and I can also add in a status. Please note, everything here is going to be non-mandatory. What we really need to have is a client name. Everything else beyond that is really up to you. But I am going to add in a status. We'll do in progress. If I want to add in a start and completion, a start and end time for the contract, I can do that. Two things to note here. Number one, if you're going to add an address, this is not the address of the site that would be serviced. Rather, it's the address that a bill would be received at by your client. So if you need to add an address here, that's what it would be. And the same thing is going to apply with the contact name. This is not necessarily the contact that is going to wind up on a site, though it could be the same. This is instead going to be the contact that would be paying the bill, or any other internal contact you may have with that client. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and hit Save down below. And now we're going to move on to sites. Now you'll notice I can add more than one site at a time. I can create more than one quote for a client. That's one item that makes this quote tool a little bit unique compared to others. But for right now, let's go ahead and add in one. So I'll click Add Site down below here on the right. And the first thing I'm going to do is add a site name. So we'll call this Home Depot -city name. And I'm going to go ahead and add in an address here. Which would then auto-populate. Now the contacts at this point are going to be the site contacts. So if you do need to add site contacts, I would begin doing that here. These would then populate in the Sites tab later on. We're going to go ahead and save this. And now we're going to move on to measurements and maps. These are going to look familiar if you've added sites into Yeti previously without adding in a quote, but we will go ahead and draw our geofence around this site. And as I always tell people, make it a bit wider than the site itself. Go ahead and hit OK. We can add in an image if we want to. I'm going to hit Take and Edit down below here. This is going to pop out a picture of this site for me. And if I want to now at this point, I can go ahead and add in directional plow lines if I need to. It's not realistic. But we will also add in some snow piles and maybe some handicap parking. At that point, we'll go ahead and hit Save, which is off camera at the moment in the top right corner. And now that we have, you can add more than one map if you would like to. But I'm also going to add in my measurements. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and just title this parking lot, though I can add more than one measurement. If I also want to measure sidewalks, I can. Just note that you will want to use the unit of measure that you would typically be used to using. It's going to default here in my account as square footage, but I would really like to use acreage. So we'll click acres and then go to draw area. And at this point, I can zoom in a bit if I need to. Looks like we've got a new section of parking lot here, but I'll go ahead and draw around, go quickly, so it won't be perfect, but you will get the idea. We have 5.17 acres of parking lot here, so I will hit OK. Again, if I want to, I can add in sidewalks as well, but for right now, I'm just going to hit Save. Now, once we've added all that information, I'll call that preliminary information. We'll go ahead and add now our services, which is going to be really the main part of the quote. So we'll click Services, and I'm going to go ahead and click the plus button on the left-hand side. Now you'll see I can either create a new service entirely if I've not added services in my Services tab here on the left-hand side of the screen. But if I have, I'm going to click Add Existing Services. So we'll go ahead and add in clear sidewalk, plow lot, and salt parking lot. At this point, you're going to see I've got one visit and I've got no cost and no pricing. So we do need to add some information in. Now, ideally, you're going to do this for all three items, but for right now, I'm just going to do this for plow lot. So we will click on the Edit button next to the item. From there, we'll go ahead and hit Add Item. We are in Equipment right now. I will move along to Consumables and Labor here in a moment, but we'll add Equipment, and let's say on this specific site, we're going to add in and use a blue loader. And I've got one blue loader being used. That would be the quantity per visit. Units, honestly, this can be whatever you would like it to be. You've got total freedom there, but I would recommend, for the sake of what we're doing, adding in hours, and you'll see why here in a minute. Go ahead and shorthand that. So we added hours because the very next thing we have is a unit cost. So what I'm going to do is now add in my cost per hour to use the blue loader. And let's say, just to keep things simple, my cost per hour to use that is $100. And my price, which is what I will be charging my client, is, let's say, $150. If that's the case, you'll see my profit margin is 33.33%. But let's say ideally I would like to have a 35% profit margin. What I can do, instead of adjusting this until I get to 35, is just come over here to profit percent and type in 35. That will then automatically make my unit price per hour $153.84. From there, I'm going to go ahead and add in labor. I could add consumables, however, that does not apply to plow lot. I'll come back to this though momentarily. So for labor, we're going to hit Add Item, and I'm going to click Labor, and we're going to go to Heavy Equipment Operator. Click Add, and at this point, you're going to see again quantity visit. We're going to need one heavy equipment operator. And I already have my unit cost and unit price factored in here based on the information that I added in the production rates tab. One other thing I'll note, you do have a calculator to the right hand side of the quantity per visit item here. And if I click there, you'll then be able to add in your acreage if you'd like to. So this is the acreage that we've already populated. And if I want to, based on my production rates, we'll say this qualifies as a large lot. I'm going to add in my acreage, 5.174. That's going to take me about 0.65 hours based on the production rates that I added. And we'll go ahead and click Update. And in this case, to use that operator, it is going to cost my client $48.75. Now, if I wanted to, if this were a parking lot salting, I could also add in my consumables. I would click Add Item, go to Consumables here, and then add in whichever item I may need. In that case, what we would really do is go ahead and save this and move along to salt parking lot, which is where we may add consumables. But for right now, I'm just going to click Save. And then I can go on, if I click the back button here. By the way, in case this is not immediately clear, right now on this quote, it's underpriced, I will say, but we're going to plow this lot at a rate of $202.60 and a cost of $129.25 for us. Your client will not see this number, just to be very clear. We're going to hit the back button. At that point, I can click Contract, and this is going to give you a preview of what the client would be able to see. Now, I could have adjusted that to per visit, which I should have, but right now, we're going to see the per season pricing for a clear sidewalk, plow lot, and salt parking lot. Obviously, we did not add in our numbers for the clear sidewalk or salt parking lot, but we did add in our pricing for plow lot. If you have any questions about any of this, you are free to reach out to partner@yetisoftware.com.